Hello, hello. How is everyone? So, I was thinking, I have not done a Facebook Live in a little while, so I thought I would pop in here to say hello to everyone. If you are brand new to the group and you don't know who I am Brianna and I am an empowerment coach for teen girls and young women. And I wanted to talk about just a couple of different things today. Um, One is I've started doing something new with my clients. And I have to say, it's like my favorite time of the day is when I'm getting these texts back from my clients. So let me tell you what I'm doing. It all started with one girl that I'm working with, teenage girl. We've been working on her self-esteem. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something different. So what we started is I said, okay, every week, I said, we're going to do this for 1 week. Every week, sorry, not every week, every day, I'm going to text you and I'm going to ask you about what your celebrations are from the day. And I'm going to ask you to praise yourself. You're going to give me two and two celebrations, two praises. Now, the reason I was doing this with this particular girl is because on our calls, it would be hard for her to, when I would ask her, kind of to focus on the positive. And it was hard for her to focus on the positive. Her mind wanted to bring her to the negative, right? And so it's like a practice. It's like learning a skill. And so anyways, we started doing this, and like every day I'm still doing this with her. Now, we've gone way over than 1 week. I asked her on our last call if she wanted to keep going with this, and she said yes. So every evening I'm texting her and I'm getting like the best text from her. So it got me thinking, like a few days in when we were doing this, I'm like, wait a second, I want to do this with the other girls that I'm working with. So most of my private clients I'm now doing this with, where I text them one text in the evening and I'm asking them, give me a couple celebrations and give me a couple praises about yourself. Here's why. No, I think I wrote Facebook, I think I did a post on praising and like why it's so important when we praise ourselves. Not always about other people praising us, but when we can do it for ourselves, that's where everything changes, and that's where our confidence and our self-esteem can really like rise up when we start doing this. So it's really interesting because I was getting such success with this one girl, 13-year-old girl that I'm working with, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do this with everyone. So now I'm doing it with a bunch of my clients, but I want to share with you some of the texts that I'm getting because it's really like I love this so much. So give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so this is one of the girls that I'm working with. And last night I texted her and I said, what are your celebrations and praises for the day? And she wrote me back and she said, I am creating time for walking the dogs and doing the things I need and also want by waking up early, which in the past, she used to sleep in really late. So her waking up early is like a huge thing for her. Waking up early and tackling the important tasks first. She says, and I am enjoying the simple things in life tonight, like making a fire and some s'mores while watching the stars and listening to frogs and crickets. Okay, so how cute is that? That was adorable. But it's like, here's what this is doing. It's shifting these girls' focus from negative stuff, what's going wrong in their lives. It's shifting them to, okay, what's going right in my life? What can I celebrate? What can I be proud of that I'm doing for myself? And the praise is everything. So I'll read you another one, but while I look for another one, I just want to offer this to all of you moms that are watching this. this little practice doesn't have to be just something I do with my clients. You can start doing this with your daughters. And if you have sons, do it with your sons as well. Do it with the family. But really, when you see your daughter, when she comes home from school or in the evening, ask her what she can celebrate about her day. And then from there, ask her what she can praise herself. Like, what are the things that she's proud of herself that she did that day? This is so important because, like I said before, girls are not, even adults, we're not doing this for ourselves. We're just not. And so if you want your daughter to work on her self-esteem, this is going to be amazing for her. So let me look up another one. So I'll share like just one more with you. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'll look at, okay, this one. Okay, so this is another one of my clients. And same thing, I asked her, what is she celebrating? What are her praises? And this is what she responded to me yesterday. I did really good at holding back anything snarky that I wanted to say when I was cranky and tried replacing them with something positive instead. And I took some time to go for a walk to calm my mind down. Amazing. I love that more than anything. So here's another thing that's like really important in the work that I'm doing with girls and young women. It's one thing when we're proud of ourselves, right? But then when you have someone else that's saying like, yeah, way to go. I'm so proud of you. Keep going. Like, keep it up. You're doing amazing. That takes it to a whole different level. So I know for myself, I have invested, like I've done years and years of coaching for myself. I've had various coaches. I still have coaches to this day. And that is one of like the best things about coaching is like when we're working on ourselves, it's important that we are congratulated, that we're like, oh my God, you're doing amazing. Keep it up. Like, it's important that we hear that. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're 60, 40, 12. It doesn't matter the age, but it's like, it's really important to us. And it gives us that like, that push, that like, yeah, I can do this. I am doing this. So it's really, really important. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is the title for this Facebook Live, Change Your Words and Change Your Reality. So I talk a lot about with the work that I do with teen girls and young women, the language that they use, because let me just break it down for you. Whatever we say to ourselves, whatever, we say it out loud, or if it's our inner self-talk or our inner dialogue, whatever we say or whatever we think, our mind's always listening. And our mind like basically believes anything that we tell it, whether it's wrong or right, true or false, whether it makes us feel good or whether it makes us feel bad. It just takes it all in like a sponge, okay? So it's very important that not only your daughters, but you moms, that you are mindful of the language that you are using. And I noticed there was a post by one of the moms in this group, and I thought it was just important for me to mention something that I read in the post just around what I'm talking about which is language. So in the post, it said, every week is a struggle when you're raising a teenager. And I want to just check in with all of you moms, because I'm sure that this one particular mom, she's not the only mom that feels that way. Maybe she's not the only person or only mom that has said that out loud. But here's the problem when you put out like thoughts like that, or you use words like that, where every week is a struggle when you are raising a teenager, you're basically saying that out into the universe. Your mind hears it. And so guess what's going to happen? Every week will be a struggle with your teenager. But what if you start changing your language? So this is the work that I do with the girls that I work with and young women. But moms, it's important for you to understand this and get this, because the language that you are using is also creating your reality. And if you don't like your reality, then the first thing you got to do is look at the words, look at the language that you're using, look at your self-talk, look at the inner dialogue that you have going on in here. Is it negative? Is whatever you're saying or whatever you're thinking, is that the way that you want your life to go? Because it's creating your reality. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is. So why not create the kind of reality that you want to have, right? Same thing for your daughters. Like, this is the work that I teach them as well, right? So much of it is mindset, their thoughts, their feelings. If they have a thought that doesn't make them feel good, they can throw out the thought. I was doing a session with one of my girls last week, and we were going over it. Okay, so what happens when you have a negative thought that doesn't make you feel good? What do? Do you sit in it? Do you let it stay and linger? Or do you get rid of it and bring in a new empowering thought that's going to make you feel good? This is what true empowerment is all about. But it's not a once in a while type thing. It's an everyday, like, moment by moment. This is what we got to do. This is what your daughter has to do. And moms as well, you can do this as well. It's so important. This is what I find that, the girls and young women that I work with, the ones who really take off and the ones who really are doing like tremendous work in their lives, it's not based on the one call per week that we have. It's not based also on like the texting or I use Voxer, which is like it's an app where we send voice messages back and forth to one another. It's not based on that. It's not based on the texting. It's not based on our calls. What it is based on is your daughter saying, I am willing to do whatever it takes to change my life because I'm worth it and I deserve a better life. So like I said before, moment by moment, how many thoughts are coming inside our head all throughout the day? I don't know. I don't have a study on this, but there's a lot. A lot of thoughts are coming in. And so if your daughter is just allowing whatever it is to come through her head and just sit there and stay there and ruin her day, ruin her week, ruin her month, then she's not going to progress and she's not going to get any better. So this is why, like, the girls that I see that are really making huge strides and transformation in their lives, they're really taking ownership of their lives, because this work, the work that I teach girls to do for themselves, it's all of their life. It's like their whole entire life. It's not just like one little aspect. I know when I first started working on myself, and let's be real, I'm still working on myself. I'm not like finished. I'm not done. I'm still like growing and evolving. That's the beauty of life, that I can continue to do this amazing work, right? So it never stops for me, and I never want it to stop because I love this work so much. But what I think is, it's powerful when girls realize that at any given moment, they have the choice how they want to respond to life. If you read the post that I wrote last night, it was about, I had gone to Agape over the weekend, and I was listening to Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is, Behind the Secret, if you're not familiar with him. And, some of the things that he was talking about, like, pain is a part of our lives. Like, we can't escape it, but suffering doesn't have to be a part of our life. And it all goes back to the thoughts that we have. And what is it going to take to change our thoughts? When we change our thoughts, when we change the way that we feel, we create an entire, excuse me, I just had a smoothie before. We create an entirely new reality for ourselves. And your daughter can do this for herself as well. But it's like, if your daughter is living in the sadness, if she's living in anxiety, if she's living in the woe is me, I'm a victim, my life sucks, she's not going to ever get out of that, right? So she needs to start working on what's going on in here, and medication isn't going to fix it for her, right? And therapy may or may not be helping for your daughter, because something that often happens in therapy is that there's a lot of talk about the problems, right? Of past events, of things that have happened. But what about moving forward? Okay. And I'm not saying that that's not important, because we have to go back and we have to do healing work, which is a big part of the work that I do. But aside from that, where is your daughter going to go? She's got to move forward. And how does she move forward? She's got to work on this. It's all about the mindset. It's all about her thoughts. And so when your daughter can get really good, when she can notice, oh, wait a second, that thought that I just had, that makes me feel crappy. I don't want to think that way anymore. What do I need to do? I'm going to change it. This is what I was working on with another client of mine last week. We were going over, I've been working with her for a while now, and I'm like, okay, you have a tool belt, right? You have a tool belt of all of these things that you can do if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling upset, if you're not feeling happy in your life. I want you to pull out all of these things that you've learned how to do, because it's not enough if she knows how to do all this, but then she's not applying it into her life. What's the point of that? So anyways, we went through everything that she has learned from me, and I'm like, okay, so these are all of the things that you can do. So if you feel anxious one day, if you feel really upset and bothered about something, and you choose to do nothing, when you have a tool belt of all of these things ready to go, right? You have all of these things that you know how to do to make yourself feel better. And if you choose not to do any of them, then whose fault is it that you are living in anxiety and sadness and stress and overwhelm? And she's like, me. And I'm like, yeah, it's you. So here's the thing, when young women, when they learn how to become empowered in their lives, how to think differently, what are the things that they need to do to start shifting their lives, they are taking control, they are taking responsibility for their lives, they are no longer victims, they are taking ownership of everything that happens to them. But it's up to them, because I'm not in their brain, I'm not in their mind 24/7. So they've got to take responsibility. They've got to shift when they're feeling icky, when they're feeling ugh. If somebody triggered them and now they're in a ugh mood, they got to know, what am I going to do to get out of this? And that's where so many people, so many girls mess up, because something happens to them out there, right? Some friend betrays them. Some boyfriend dumps them. Whatever happens, and they stay stuck to feeling a certain way. And however they're feeling is creating their reality. So if they're stuck in sadness, if they're upset, if that is how they're showing up every day, then no wonder they're not feeling any better. They've got to change how they're feeling, and it starts with her thoughts. So leave a comment, leave a message below if this spoke to you, if this resonates with you. I've got a call I gotta get on right in a few minutes, but I'd love to hear you. So if this sparked any insight or revelations or whatever, leave a comment below. But really, I want all of you moms to take this away from this Facebook Live. When you change your words, you change your reality. So be mindful of what you are saying. Be mindful of what you are thinking, because you are shaping whatever it is that's going on around you. And your daughter is doing the same thing. And whether you want to believe this or not, it's the truth and it's happening. And this one thing can change everything for you moms, and it can change everything for your daughters. So leave a comment below. Mwah! I'm sending you so much love, hugs, and kisses. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye.